Okay, it is the day before Thanksgiving, getting ready to load up the smoker tomorrow with some turkeys. So I'm going to go ahead and brine one of these turkeys here for you, show you how I brine a turkey. Check it out. So brining can mean a number of things. What I'm going to do today is a saltwater brine, where the turkey will actually be soaking in salt water for about 18 hours. You want to do about 1 hour per pound of meat that you have. Sometimes people refer to brining like a dry brine, you'll hear people mention. That's basically where you put salt on the meat and then set it in the fridge uncovered and let the salt sort of soak in, but there's no water involved in that. That's a great way to do it if you're cooking in your oven or doing a faster roast. Where we're going to be smoking the turkeys, I want to get as much moisture into the meat as I can. That's why I'm doing the saltwater brine. The other thing that the saltwater brine helps to do is, a lot of these turkeys, when you buy them, they're frozen and they've been in the fridge thawing for several days, but there's still, a lot of them still have some ice in the middle. The saltwater brine helps them continue to thaw completely before they go in the smoker, but having salt in the water allows them to thaw at a cooler temperature, so you can actually keep it well within that food safe range. But the salt water helps melt some of that ice, so you're working with a fully thawed turkey once it goes on the smoker. So I'm going to cut into this turkey. I'm keeping it very simple today, doing just salt in the water. You could do other herbs and spices. You could put some vinegar. There's different things that people do. Where I'm smoking these turkeys, the smoke's going to add a lot of flavor to the turkey, so I don't want to overpower that with a bunch of other spices in the brine. I'm just doing the salt mainly. Like I said, the salt water is going to help thaw these turkeys out at a food safe temperature, and pre-salt some of the meat. I'm going to add more salt on it before I cook it on the exterior, but this will help some of that salt be absorbed into the meat and just give it a little bit better flavor, since turkey is a little bit more bland of a meat to begin with. I want to make sure I get some flavor into it, so it turns out as tasty as possible, I guess. So to start, we're going to mix up our saltwater brine. I've got a pot of water heated up here. I've got it hot so the salt dissolves quick. I want to make sure we cool that down before we get the turkey in it. Probably have more water in here than I need. I've got this 5-gallon bucket that will be brining the turkey in. You can see the turkey is going to take up probably a good 2 to 3 gallons of space in there, so I really only need probably 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water to fill the space around the turkey. So I'm going to go ahead and actually pour some of this out. I've got probably 2 gallons of water in here, so let me just pour a little bit of that out, just so we're not diluting our salt too much, and then we'll get to mixing. All right, so I've got just about 1 gallon of water here. There's really no science to this as far as I'm concerned. There's plenty of recipes you can find online that will give you a salt to water ratio. I'm just going fairly salty with it, and I'm kind of just doing it to taste. I want it to taste, for lack of a better description, uncomfortably salty if you taste it. So we'll let that dissolve for a second here. Yeah, it's already got quite a bit of salt in it, so let that dissolve for a second. Got my fancy brine stirring knife here. So I want to make sure that salt dissolves, and we'll go ahead and add a little bit more. Where I'm smoking these turkeys, I'm relying on the smoke to get most of the flavor, as well as the seasoning that I put on the outside. So this is really just to make sure that there's some salt in the water and that it does its thing. Okay. So the other reason why I poured some water out of this is I don't want to use hot water to start the brine. That's going to start to heat the turkey up beyond food safe temperatures. So I'm going to actually add some ice to this now that I've got salt in it, to cool it back down before I put the turkey in it. So that ice is going to dilute it a little bit farther. So I'll go ahead and add some ice to that. So if all of the ice melts, then I know the water is still above 32 degrees. So I'm going to keep adding ice till it stops melting. That way I know I've reached the food safe temperature. I'll just add this whole bag and see how we do there. Ice also helps, like I mentioned, it's sort of a temperature gauge. as the turkey's brining. It's a way to quickly check. If you open up the lid and you see there's still ice cubes in there, you know that it's still, the water's still below a freezing temperature, and the salt allows it to be that cool without the water itself freezing. So okay, that's cooling down nicely. The ice has pretty much stopped melting. I might add a little bit more after we get it in the turkey here, but I think that's good for now. So we'll let that sit. We'll get the turkey opened up, take a look at it, and then we'll get it in the brine. So whenever I'm dealing with raw meat, especially poultry, I like to wear gloves. Just makes cleanup easier and it's more sanitary. It's a 19-pound bird, which is a decent size for smoking. Any bigger than that, and then it starts to take too long. This one does have the built-in thermometer. I usually just pull that out. I have no faith in a piece of plastic to tell me when a turkey's done. I'll use a meat thermometer for that. So, looks good. Let me check the inside here. Sometimes they'll have the bag with the gizzards or the innards in there. Let me see if this one has it or not. If it does, yeah, there it is. We'll pull that out. Yeah, so this still has quite a bit of ice on the inside, so this brine will help thaw the rest of that out. See if I can get it out without ripping it here. So that's the heart and the gizzard and whatever other parts I put in there, the liver, I think. And then a lot of times the neck will be in there as well. Let's see if this one has the neck in there. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Okay, this has the little plastic handle on it. I'm gonna take that off. I think you can actually cook it with that on, but it's just gonna get in the way how we're doing it. So we'll pull it out. Everything else looks good. There's a little bit of ice in there still, but let's go feet up on this just to make it easy to move in and out. So I'm using a food safe bucket here. If you don't have a food safe bucket, you can there's the plastic brining bags that you can buy, but honestly the bucket's like $4, the bags are like $3. You may as well just get the bucket, then you can use it over and over again. So I've got the bucket here. Turkey's in it. There's still some ice in our brine here, so that means it should be relatively cool. Let's go ahead and pour that in. I'll add some more ice in it just to make sure it stays cool here. I want to go just till the turkey's covered, otherwise it starts to float in there. We'll grab some more ice and put that in there. Go from there. I'll go ahead and add some more ice. Added some more ice to this. Should stay nice and cool. If you got room in your fridge, put it in the fridge. Otherwise, use the ice as a way to sort of gauge temperature, like I said before. As long as there's ice floating in the bucket, then you know the water's below 32 degrees if the ice is staying frozen. So I'm gonna let this sit until about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. This will go on the smoker, 9 or 10 o'clock. So it's about 18 hours, so about an hour per pound is what you're going for. Any longer than that, it's just not necessary, but that should give it enough time to get that salt and water worked into the meat to start doing its thing. So we'll get the lid on this, and then we'll get it put away until tomorrow. So there you have it. That's how I prefer to brine turkeys when I'm smoking them. There's a lot of different brine recipes out there, a lot of different ways you can do it. I find keeping it simple this way works really well for the way I smoke turkeys and the way I season them before they go on the smoker. So appreciate you guys watching the video. Stay tuned. We've got more videos coming out on the rest of the turkey smoking process. Thanks, guys.